In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 of the books that have had the biggest impact on me and my approach to running our property business. Now, for me specifically, when I'm thinking about these books, it is the transition that I have made from acting and feeling like a landlord to acting and feeling like the owner of a business. And it's an important transition that I think we all need to go through as we're scaling a property business, a property portfolio, to stop thinking of ourselves as that stereotypical landlord. Making that switch from landlord to property business owner to CEO of our property business isn't about the size of the deals that we're doing or the volume of deals that we're doing. We can make this shift at any time, and the sooner that we do it, the more impactful it is going to be on how we operate, and the quicker it's actually going to allow us to scale. So we want to be making this change maybe before you think you need to. If you're sitting here thinking, hey, I'm fine being a landlord with the plunger on my tool belt and all the tenants having my phone number, you can operate like that, but it's going to give you serious restrictions in terms of how quickly you can grow. So it's not about that size or volume of deals that you're working on. It's about a focus on the right things in your business, spending time on the tasks that are going to add the highest value, give you the best return on your own investment, the time that you're putting into your business. And to me, being the owner of a property business isn't about stripping wallpaper or fitting kitchens or responding to maintenance issues. In my opinion, it's about a focus on a small number of specific tasks that add the highest value to your business. First and foremost, it is a focus on the long-term strategy and vision. Nobody can do this except you. Nobody can determine the path that your business is going to take except you. And it is that strategy, that vision that you come up with that aligns with your own personal goals, the goals for you and your family to achieve financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom. It is that strategy that makes your business unique and unlike any other property business, even though ultimately we're all buying bricks and mortar, investing in assets and renovating them, adding value, renting them out, selling them, whatever. The business model is fairly simple, but our approach to it can be drastically different. So first and foremost, it's that focus on long-term strategy and vision. Second most important thing, or not necessarily in hierarchical order, but the second of the 4 important things you need to focus on as a business owner is deal flow, our raw material, if you like, when it comes to investing in property. If you don't have that ability to find good deals, or you don't have the time to find good deals, everything else doesn't really matter. The third thing that you need to be focusing on as a property business owner is finance. Your ability to finance those deals that you find, that you source, will determine how quickly your portfolio can grow. We need to be able to find the finance to acquire and develop these properties in order to grow our asset value, but also in order to grow our profitability. So that might be through our own cash flow, through reinvesting profits and saving up the money that we're making. It might be through conventional finance like mortgages and bridging finance, or it might be through attracting and building relationships with potential private investors, my favorite way for funding our property deals. And then the 4th key activity I think you need to be able to focus on as a property business owner is leadership and management. The ability to bring people in around you who you can get aligned with your vision, who have got the skills to take on a part of your business that you're not necessarily an expert in, that isn't the best use of your time, but still needs to get done, whether that's bookkeeping, property management, project management, any of the different aspects of your business's org chart that you are not uniquely capable of delivering, either because you're not passionate about it or because it's not the best use of your time. So if you're currently doing everything yourself, you feel like you're the only one that does anything in your business or that can do anything in your business, there is another way. There is a better way by starting to scale your team. And it can be small at first, and then maybe you'll take on more and more people as your portfolio grows. You don't need to build a huge team, but you need to get out of your own way. You need to stop thinking that you are the only one that can do things in your business. And when you do that, you need to step up to lead and to manage those people. So with that being said, here are the 4 books that have helped me most to develop the skills in these particular areas. The first one that I want to share with you is a book called Small Giants by an author called Bo Burlingham. So Bo was the editor of Inc. magazine. Maybe you've heard of that, maybe you've not. He's also the author of several books, not just this one, but this is my particular favorite. Inc. magazine is an American small business and entrepreneurship magazine. They annually host the Inc. 500 or Inc. 5000 fastest growing, I think, private businesses in the US. It was a magazine that I always used to pick up when I was a teenager and in my early 20s if I was on holiday on the US. Really enjoyed that magazine and came across this book, Small Giants, as a result of following an advert that was in there, I think. But it's basically a book of case studies, 14 different case studies looking at different businesses that have chosen to focus on something other than growth and profit as their main priority, as their main reason for existence. Companies like Anchor Brewing, a beverage company in, I think, San Francisco that they're based. Union Square Hospitality Group, which is a restaurant chain that is, I believe, still owned and founded by a restaurateur called Danny Mayer, who also then launched Shake Shack in New York, which is now a sort of worldwide burger chain that you'll be familiar with, I'm sure. And he's got this phenomenal restaurant chain, or certainly did have. This book is, I think, 2006, maybe it was released. So, some of these case studies are a little out of date, but the message in it is so important. And another one that I really liked was Zingerman's Deli, a small business that grew into this phenomenally successful chain. And all of these businesses, whether you've heard of them or not, they all share one common theme. And that was that desire, that passion to focus on something other than profits, things like improving their communities, creating the best place for their employees to work, customer service above all else. Not necessarily focusing on all of these, but each business focused on something that was more important to them than growth and profits. And the irony is that by focusing on these other aspects first and foremost, they became some of the most successful companies within their respective industries. So the biggest lesson for me from this book, well, I mean, of course, we're all in this industry to make money. I'm not going to deny that. But beyond that need of making money to survive, to look after our family and our friends, to support causes that we are passionate about, by having a purpose that goes beyond that, it's going to help you attract other people to you. And we need a lot of people to work with us in our businesses, whether that's employees, business partners, investors, even contractors, architects, the other service providers that we use. Having that purpose beyond just focusing solely on how can I extract the most value out of this building, out of the people that live or work or rent this building from us, that is going to make you stand out in what can be a very crowded marketplace and attract the right attention to you and help your business grow by focusing on something alongside the profitability. So, great starting point if you haven't read it, Small Giants by Bo Burlingham. Second book on my list, for some reason I can't find a copy of, but it's called The E-Myth. I'm sure you've all heard of it. I'll put a nice little picture on the screen here. It's by an author called Michael Gerber. He's the guy who coined the phrase that you should spend your time working on your business rather than in your business. And that's the basic premise of this book, The E-Myth. In his world, in The E-Myth, there are 3 different roles or definitions that every business needs in order to survive. You've got the entrepreneur, the person who has got the ideas and the vision. You have got the manager, the person who brings those ideas to life by looking after the people and the processes. And then you've got the technician, the one who's actually on the ground, in the thick of it, doing the stuff, making the widgets, providing the service, building the websites, whatever it is that your business does. The problem is, and this is what Michael Gerber argues, most entrepreneurs aren't cut out to be business owners because we get very guilty of remaining in that technician seat for far too long and doing the work. In his example, in his book, he uses an example of a baker. And rather than growing the bakery business, they spend all their time in the kitchen baking cakes. And that may be fine. You can be a technician owner operator, but in order to build an actual business that isn't just another day job for yourself that you've created, you need to level up through that technician into manager into entrepreneur role. And okay, some of the book's a little bit outdated. It's also a bit older, like Small Giants. Some of the case studies and the examples that he makes up are a little bit interesting, to say the least. If you've read it, you'll know the conversations that he has with himself, and it's, a little bit cringy at times, but the underlying messages, I think, are very powerful about developing systems and processes for the key operations in your business that other people can follow, treating your business like a business from day one rather than a job, Create a clear org chart with roles and responsibilities. Even if your name is against all of them, now it gives you an idea of what your business needs to look like in future for you to get up to that CEO or business owner role and have other people working for you. And get yourself into the position where you can then act like that entrepreneur instead of the manager or the technician as soon as possible. And in our case, going back to the examples I shared at the start, the quicker you can get up to focusing on the longer term strategy and vision, the deal flow, the finance of those deals, and that leadership and management responsibility, the quicker your business is going to get in a position to scale beyond you having to do everything yourself. So, biggest lesson for me from this book: processes are what run a business day to day. It doesn't need to be you that runs the business day to day. Project management, property management, bookkeeping, all those examples. A defined process allows other people to do the work so that you can focus on the strategy and the future growth of your business. So if you're struggling with systems and processes and how you actually start to transition from the landlord to the business owner, this is going to be a great book for you if you haven't read it already. The third book on my list is this one, 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. You've probably heard of Tim Ferriss. He is an investor, he's an author, a blogger, one of the most popular podcast hosts in the world, or the host of one of the most popular podcasts in the world, and a life hacker. He's always looking for ways to improve and make more effective everything that he does in his life. He spends time traveling the world and teaching himself how to become a professional wrestler or tango dancer or musician or whatever. He spends a lot of time doing these funky experiments, which are kind of cool. He's also had his own successful business. So when he wrote the 4-Hour Workweek, or what he wrote it based on, was his experience running a sort of online supplements company, which he's later sold. And then he's invested in companies like Uber and TaskRabbit, and just generally makes money from being a Silicon Valley celebrity. So the 4-Hour Workweek basically does exactly what it says on the tin. It suggests that as entrepreneurs and business owners, a lot of what we spend our time doing is unproductive, unnecessary, and can be achieved more effectively by outsourcing or delegating it to somebody else, or even in a lot of cases automating that work so that there's some sort of process running through Zapier or any of these other software apps or platforms that can do a lot of what we do manually on our behalf. Throughout the book, he shares his own story from that supplements business that he was running when I think he was working like 60 or 80 hours a week, reducing that right down to, as it says, the 4-Hour Workweek, and significantly increasing his profits at the same time whilst reducing his stress, traveling a lot more, and as I say, exactly as it says on the tin. There is a lot in here about how to outsource effectively, about the idea of becoming a digital nomad. If the idea of traveling whilst running your property business is exciting to you, then that's a cool idea, and you get some ideas about how you could do that in here, and what to do with all of that extra time that you create by following his suggestions. So it's a pretty enjoyable read. Even if you only implement a couple of ideas from it, you don't need to go through and follow his entire blueprint, but just one or two ideas on how you can reduce your workload, outsource effectively, delegate to other people, where you find those people that you can outsource and delegate to in a cost-effective way. It's well worth the read. And it'll give you some ideas about lifestyle design and maybe what you want to do with the time that you create. So for me, the biggest lesson or takeaway from this was that I don't need to work more in order to be more successful. I spent a lot of time thinking, well, in order to grow my business, in order to make more money, I just need to work more in, more out. And that is not the case. It's about working smarter rather than harder. And obviously, by all means do both, work smart and hard. But this is a really good outline, blueprint of how you can start to delegate and outsource your business. And by evaluating what you spend your time on your business doing and where you actually add the most value to your business, you can achieve more whilst doing less. The boat, so my wife and I, if you don't know, we spent the last 4 or 5 years, we sold our house, we bought a boat, and we've been sailing around the Med whilst running our property business. The idea that was actually possible, came from reading the 4-Hour Workweek and seeing that you didn't need to be physically located in an office 40 hours a week in order for a business to be a success. So we accomplished that almost as a result of reading this book. Certainly it gave us the idea that we could go out and do that. So it's absolutely possible. Your business can be whatever you want it to be, and it can enable the lifestyle that you want to live. So worth a read if you're into, working less whilst making more profit. Maybe want to do something a bit more interesting with your time beyond the day job as well. And then the fourth book that I want to share with you, this one, Traction by Gino Wickman. It is the newest book on the list. I don't think I've talked about this one before. Gino is part of a company called, I can't remember actually what the company's called, but the operating system that they have created is called the Entrepreneur's Operating System. I came across this book through another book that he had written called Rocket Fuel when I was trying to establish the right relationship between myself and Jess, who's one of our team, who effectively runs the day-to-day operations of our business. And Rocket Fuel was all about that relationship between the sort of entrepreneur in the business and in the case of Rocket Fuel, they call that the visionary, and Jess's role as the sort of operations director, the one that sort of takes the vision and brings it to life and makes sure that everything is running smoothly. And like I say, I came across this book Traction on the back of that and his EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System model. You can see probably I'm a big fan of this book up here on the bookcase over here. I've got loads of copies of that. We give a copy to everyone who's in our property investment mastermind group, because I think for those people, typically they're looking to do something similar to this, to move from that landlord approach to property investment business owner. And this book is well worth all of them reading. So it's sort of required material. So I really like it. Anyway, this book, Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business, breaks down its 6 key components effectively that he believes every business needs to focus on a regular basis in order to turn your business into that well-oiled machine that we're all trying to create. So more profits, less stress. The 6 key components are vision. So again, thinking about long-term strategy and vision, it comes through in all of these. Your people, team, another recurring theme throughout here. The data, so your scorecard and the metrics that you're using to measure the health of your business. The dashboard in your car, effectively that version for your business. The issues and how you overcome the issues that come up in your business. The processes, so again, kind of similar to the E-Myth, the idea that all businesses run on good processes. And traction, which is how you put all of this into practice in a way that it's natural for your team to keep an eye on these 6 components without it becoming overwhelming. So what that looks like on an annual basis, a 90-day basis, a weekly basis, to keep that momentum going in your business. So it's a really good system that you can take and plug and play into your business. Now it's aimed at businesses who are typically sort of like £1 million plus. So you don't need to take all of this on board straight away. But we've been running it in our business for a number of years now, and it's had a massive impact. And we've kind of scaled it back a little bit to suit property businesses and also to suit the level of income that we're at. We don't need to apply all of it to our business in exactly the same way that it's here. But as an outline, it's a phenomenal resource. Biggest lesson for me from Traction, probably 2 huge takeaways, I think, from this one. The first, and both of these have a daily impact on our business. The first was the idea of a 90-day focus for our business. So every 90 days, we have a very clear idea of what we need to achieve. It's like a short sprint rather than thinking in a 12-month term. That 90-day term allows us to really achieve a lot in a short space of time and then rapidly move on to the next 90-day cycle and constantly keep the most important priorities at the top of our list. The second is the scorecard that tracks all of the key numbers across the different aspects or departments, if you like, within our business, so that at any point in time, whether it's property management, our private finance fundraising targets, our deal flow, the renovation projects, it lets us see exactly what is working and where we've got issues in all of those different departments within our business and where we need to focus our attention in order to bring things back on track or where they're already on track and running smoothly. So hopefully there's at least one book there that you haven't read that you can add to your reading list. Now, like I say, I highly recommend all 4 of them if you are an established property investor, whether that's just doing a couple of deals a year or larger volume than that, but you're looking to scale this up into a real business that you don't need to be working in 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Now, I'm always looking for other book recommendations as well. So if you've got anything that you're reading just now that you're passionate about, let me know in the comments. And I'll probably do a couple more of these videos as well if you've enjoyed it, on books that have had an impact on different areas of our business, like the marketing in our business, the actual project delivery side of things, raising finance in particular. I know that's a subject that a lot of people are really interested, how we can fund our deals using other people's money rather than relying on banks and bridging finance. So if this video has been good, if you want to see more videos on book reviews, I'd really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so you get notified when we release new videos, and I'll see you in the next one. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you soon.